Hello students, how are you all? This is Anup sir, your English teacher from Devash International Public School. Students, today in this video we will understand the lesson number 3, that is the little girl for class ninth. So students, before we begin with the lesson, let me give you an introduction about this lesson. The title of the story refers to the main character that we will come across this lesson, the little girl, named Kezia. The theme of the story is the relationship between children and their parents. And the writer, Catherine Mansfield, wants to tell us that children share a very important bond of love with their parents. Although, when children are small, when they are young, they do not feel that their parents love them because their parents are strict and many actions of their parents seems unjustified to the children. But as children grow up, they realize that all the acts done by their parents were beneficial for them. The parents were concerned for them, and beneath their strictness lies a heart full of love for their children. And this bond of love between parents and their children has been highlighted through this story. Students, before we begin reading this lesson, there's a question and there are few points given in the before you read section. Let's check that out. What is that all about? So students, when we are very small, we do not know why our parents are being strict with us. But as we grow older, we become matured and we realize why they were being strict with us. And when we realize that thing, then we also realize that our parents love us. So, even the reader can also relate to this. You all can also feel that when you were younger, the action your parents did, the strictness that they had towards you, was for your betterment. And as you will grow older and older, you will realize that in the past, whatever acts your parents did were for your betterment, and in fact, they really love you. This story about a little girl whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding will probably find an echo in every home. Now, what do we mean by will probably find an echo in every home? This means that all the children will feel the same way. So, you all can relate to the feeling of little girl Kezia. Just like Kezia is full of fear towards her father, and later on she understands his behavior and feelings that he was concerned and he loved her. All the children also have the same feeling towards their parents, and you can relate to Kezia's story very well. Students, now let's begin with the lesson. To the little girl, he was a figure to fear and avoided. Students, here, a figure to be feared means a person to be feared. So, students, who is the figure to be feared here? It is the Kezia's father. So, the writer refers to Kezia's father, and here the little girl is Kezia. The opening line of the story is indicating the fear that Kezia has for her father, and as she is fearful of her father, she tries to avoid him and she tries to remain away from him. Every morning, before going to work. He came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with, "Goodbye, father." So, every morning before going to work, Kezia's father would visit her in her room and give her a casual kiss. And in reply, Kezia would say, "Goodbye, father." So, this action of Kezia's father shows his love for Kezia. And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. Students, here, glad sense of relief means feeling relaxed, and fainter and fainter means to lessen or to reduce. Carriages like horse carts were means of conveyance used in olden times. So, here we can make out the fear that Kezia has for her father. The writer says that when Kezia heard that her father's carriage was going away from home and he was leaving home and the sound became fainter and fainter, that means the sound reduced, which means that the carriage was going far away from the house. Kezia would have a sense of relaxation. She would feel relieved that her father had left. Now, why did she feel relieved? Because she feared her father. She was afraid of him, and so she was relieved when her father left the home. In the evening, when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. So, in the evenings, when Kezia's father would return back home, she would hear his loud voice, and this loud voice against made her afraid of him. "Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there, and bring me my slippers." So, as Kezia's father returned home, he would start ordering all different kinds. He would order that tea be served to him in the drawing room. He wanted the newspaper. So, he would ask his mother to go and see if the newspaper was there outside the house, and he would ask her to get him his slippers also. Kezia, mother would call to her, "If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots." Kezia's mother would call out for her and ask her to remove her father's boots. In order to make her obey, she would say that if she was a good girl, then surely she would obey her command. Slowly, the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly, still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. Students, here, slip down means come down quickly and unwillingly. So, again we see Kezia's fear for her father. That is why she would come down the stairs quickly and unwillingly. Unwillingly because she did not want to face her father. She feared him, and after that, slowly she would cross the hall and push open the drawing room's door. By that time, he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. Now, students, just imagine Kezia's father sitting in the drawing room on a sofa, wearing his spectacles, and he is looking at Kezia over the spectacles. And now, the way he looked at her terrified her. She was horrified because maybe it seemed to her that he was staring at her. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today? Students, Kezia was reluctant in her work. She was slow in her motion, and so her father would tell her to hurry up and remove his boots and keep them outside the room. And then he would ask her if she had been a good girl the whole day. This means that she well behaved the whole day or not. Don't know, father. To this, Kezia was very scared. So she stammered and replied to her father that she does not know that she was a good girl or not the whole day. Now, why was she stammering? Because she was not confident. A person is not confident when he has any feeling of fear. You don't know? If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor. Students, stutter here means to stammer, to speak with pauses. So, here Kezia's father is copying her in stammering, and he also stammers like she did. He says to her that if she stuttered like that, then her mother would have to take her to the doctor for a checkup. She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the word properly. Students, here, given it up means stopped doing it. Trying so hard means making a lot of efforts. So, here, the writer tells us that Kezia never stammered while she spoke to other people. It was only when she talked to her father that she lacked confidence, and that it is why she tried very hard to speak properly and she stammered. What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. Students, here wretched means unhappy or sad. On the brink of suicide means about to commit suicide. Suicide means kill oneself. Students, now Kezia's father looks at her. He feels that something is wrong with her, and he asked her why she is so unhappy. And then he tells the mother that she would teach Kezia to behave in a better way, and she should not appear as if she is so unhappy that she is about to end her life. So, he wants to say that Kezia seems to be so unhappy with her life that she'd not want to live anymore. He hands her his teacup and asks her to place it back on the table. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. Students, here, this is the feeling, this is the version that Kezia has for her father. She feels that her father was so big, he was just like a giant, and the writer says that Kezia felt that his hand and his neck and his mouth were all so huge, especially when he yawned. It seemed as if he was a huge monster, and Whenever Kezia thought about her father, she felt that she was thinking about a giant. On Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with her father and mother. So, every Sunday during the afternoon, Kezia's grandmother sent her downstairs to the drawing room in order to spend time with her parents. So, Kezia was supposed to behave in a nice and decent way in front of her parents, and they had a formal get together. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. Students, here snoring means the sound produced by some people when they are asleep. So, here we feel that Kezia felt a bit neglected. Every Sunday afternoon, when she went to her parents to meet them in the drawing room and have a nice talk with them, they were busy doing their own things. Her mother was busy reading, and her father was busy sleeping and snoring. So, Kezia had this image of her parents in her mind. They did not talk with her. They didn't spend time with her. On the other hand, they were busy doing their own things. So students, this is all about this video. We will continue this lesson, The Little Girl, in the next video. Till then, you all will have to check out the word meanings given in the textbook and remember them. So, this is Anup sir saying thank you and goodbye.